We're going to be starting on this Nigerian newspapers this morning and sharing with you the big ones there. It says, uneasy calm in PDP over campaign council. Also, Bode George gives IU end of September to quit. Udom Wabara moved to douse fire, lobby Kwazu Ugwain. And it also says here, they're working successfully for defeat, says anti-IU forces. You can also find on This Nigeria, of course, goodbye Her Royal Majesty, world leaders in London for Queen's funeral. That's on page 19 of This Nigeria this morning. Of course, that was streaming all through the weekend, actually. We can also find, of course, the Vice President, the pictures there, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo arriving in London. We can, of course, pictures of US President Joe Biden and, of course, his First Lady Jill Biden arriving in London also for the funeral. Also on This Nigeria, Senate hits on Finance Act amendment to tackle 2023 budget deficit of 11.03 trillion naira. That's on page 6. And also Lagos APC tackles PDP gubernatorial over visits to lawbreakers. If you saw that, the PDP gubernatorial candidate did go visit the man who was, on the video crying after his car was auctioned. Himself and actress Funke Akindele went to pay him a visit.
Then he also went to jail from...
for breaking traffic laws.
Yeah, so they're tackling them.
Yeah, so there was a video that I saw where the Lagos gubernatorial candidate and his, deputy governor went to visit the man to, of course.
Yes, I did see that video as well.
And then, of course, say that they will find ways to bring succor to his family and all of that. And so the APC, of course, is attacking them for doing that, and calling the person a lawbreaker, which. I mean, they're right, because he did break the law, but, the argument has always been the punishment should, somehow, some way be
commensurate to the crime
committed.
You don't then auction his car and
then they put him in poverty.
Yeah.
Because now, what's he going to do? All right. 7 million Nigerians sue INEC over failure to complete voter register. That's on page 13 of This Nigerian newspapers.
All right, still here in Nigeria, let's look at, Nigerian News Direct. On the front page of Nigerian News Direct, 305 billion naira budgetary allocation. Trust in public institutions to reduce election costs, according to INEC chairman. Calls for collective support to tackle underage voting on page 2. At the top of the paper, Bantami decries threats to life because of NIN policy implementation. We also have a congratulations to Nigerian News Direct. They have some updates there on winning an award. 2022 Electoral Act will make rigging impossible, according to elder statesmen, and NDLEA impounds 18 pump action guns, 2,300 cartridges in Kogi. That's all we can take here in Nigeria.
All right, let's move away from Nigeria. See what's on the Sowetan this morning in South Africa. I'm guessing it's also very interesting stories there. It says load shedding, last number into the heart of darkness. It's also one of the things that we shared earlier that, Blessings Bosugu shared, that President Cyril Ramaphosa will, of course, be heading back to South Africa. He, apparently was on a trip to the UK for the Queen's burial, but he might be heading back to address issues concerning the load shedding challenges that they're having over there. But once again, load shedding last number into the heart of darkness. Prepare for the worst as Eskom announces stage 6, while warning outages may get worse. That's on page 4. All right. Also on the Sowetan this morning, driver of killer truck arrested after fleeing, and also break vicious cycle of suicides. We can also find here racist gets away with using K-word. That's on page 3. And finally on the Sowetan this morning, Downs leave it late. Are they pulling away again? That's on the back page. And sports on the Sowetan newspapers this morning.
All right, now let's go to Tanzania with the Citizen. On the front page of the Citizen newspaper, we have the big story saying, investors, this is what impeding reform blueprint. Challenges listed in a new report include the introduction of new fees by regulatory authorities, lack of a proper code of ethics in law enforcement, and information gaps between business associations and business firms. Stories on page 2. At the top of the paper, we have national crime. 6 Pioneer Road suspects shot dead in Dar es Salaam. The details of that's on page 2. Your health impact. The Maputo Protocol and why it matters on page 11. And in world of football, Simba stroll into first round of Champions League on page 20. Congratulations to them. Professor will not be happy about that. And at the bottom of the paper, we have Polar Group's investment pledge after Tanzania entry on page 8. Family boycotts King's body, demands probe on page 4. And final story here, world gathers in London for final farewell to Queen. Of course, dozens of world leaders have converged in London for today's state funeral of Queen Elizabeth II, who died on September 8th at the age of 96. I don't know if you saw the video of David Beckham
Yes,
on
crying.
the queue,
Yeah.
crying, and people were like, this is a person who had an actual you know how Africans are. They said this is a person that had an actual relationship with the Queen. See him crying, not all these ones that are doing fake tears on social media.
I saw one in Enugu. I saw some guy in Enugu, who was also crying, and his friends were consoling him. It's just totally
Just
hilarious.
like James Brown as
That's
well,
hilarious.
and his friends.
Yes.
Whew.
Totally
But
hilarious.
I think another angle to the whole David Beckham one is see the fact that the way that he honored the Queen, he
Yeah.
queued for 12 hours.
Yes.
He didn't try to jump queue because he's a celeb. He didn't use David Beckham status. I mean, it was very orderly and organized. It was just so beautiful to see.
I enjoyed it. Sadly, of course, it's someone's death, but there
celebration
was
of
also a
life.
lot of, there was also a lot to learn from, the whole procession for the Queen's burial. Very interesting.
Very,
Of
very
course,
interesting.
seeing British, I think you can call that British culture.
Yeah, it is their
Full
culture and their
display.
tradition on full display. A lot of people are going to start watching all those British Empire monarchy type films on the streaming platforms that have been ignored now. I think they will have a spike in their streaming services. this
I'm
season.
expecting that.
Absolutely.